Hey everyone, this is gonna be a long one. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie, that's my cat Pixel, and today is another budget with me and kind of a life update, especially if you've been following my budget with me series. You know, at the beginning of the year, I went through some issues and it feels like life is just repeating itself. So definitely stick around for this one. Since it might be a long one, I will put some timestamps in if you don't want to hear all my yapping about the most recent issue that I've had. But anyway, let's get into it. So what happened? At the beginning of the year, I had a car accident when my husband was driving my car and he accidentally hit someone. It was not covered by insurance. It was just a huge ordeal trying to get everything worked out with my car. I finally put that behind me and just moved forward with my savings and getting everything back together. And then a couple of weeks ago, my car was in another accident. I couldn't believe it. So this time, no one was in the car. I was sitting in my apartment. My car was parked outside of my apartment and I heard the loudest, craziest crash. And it was one of those situations where I was like, I do not want to look out the window. Nothing good came from that sound, but I had to see what happened, and I look out, there's an SUV on its side on my street. And just to put it into perspective, I live in a residential area. There's a ton of houses. I'm in New Jersey, so everything is really densely populated. So there's a ton of people around here. I actually live a few blocks from an elementary school. There's just a lot going on where I live. So seeing a car on its side, seeing any accident, much less one that's that extreme, is really weird. It is very unusual. So yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, what just happened? And then I looked a little further down out my window and saw my car. It was sandwiched between two SUVs. So my car had a lot of damage from the accident. I completely just freaked out and went down there and tried to figure it all out. So I'll put a few pictures of my very unfortunate car. But what happened was a drunk driver was flying down my street that has a speed limit of 25 miles an hour, by the way, because it is heavily residential area. Anyway, drunk driver flying down the street at 9:45 on a Friday night, and she hit my neighbor's car, which then hit my car and then pushed my car into someone else. So 4 total cars, including the driver. And it was just a mess. So the driver's car was obviously totaled. My neighbor's car was totaled. Mine was almost totaled, but it was not. It's in the shop right now. $8,000 worth of repairs on my car. Luckily, it is all covered this time, so that's awesome. But yeah, so my car was almost totaled. The one in front of me really didn't have that much damage because it was an SUV also. And then my car it's just it's a Honda. It's just a normal car. And so it hit that one, and it kind of messed up the bumper, but it wasn't too bad. But my neighbor's car that hit me also hit a street sign, so that was even more damage. But this woman, she must have done like $100,000 worth of damage with this accident. I mean, she must have been flying. And by the way, on the corner near me, there's a stop sign. So she clearly just ran right through the stop sign. Otherwise, there's no way she could have been going fast enough to turn her car on its side. So anyway, after that happened, man, the only good thing, no people were involved except for the driver. So it is a small miracle that no one died. Like, she easily could have killed someone. I mean, it was 9:45 on a Friday night, and we have a lot of people that walk around here. Like, the weather was amazing. We have a very walkable city that we live in. I mean, there could have been anyone walking around out there. And the other thing too is if my neighbor hadn't been parked where he was, she would have gone through my downstairs neighbor's window. Like, she literally would have hit our apartment and probably gone through the window. it could have been so much worse than it was. Like, it's so unfortunate that my car went through that, but at least the repairs are paid for. I think I am going to file one of those claims for the decreased value of the car, because this is the second accident my car's been in the past year. So, and I mean, the first one, that was just a really unfortunate situation. This one could have been easily preventable. For one, I assumed, okay, maybe she just had a little too much to drink and didn't realize how much she had actually drunk. Like, maybe she thought she was just a little tipsy and could drive, and then clearly wasn't. But no, we got the report back for her blood alcohol level. It was 0.22. 0.22. The legal limit 0.08. It's almost 3 times the legal limit. Like, she must have been completely trashed. And another thing, she didn't even go to the hospital. She got up from that crazy accident and then just went straight to jail because they arrested her. But man, I still can't believe I went through that. I mean, you hear stories like that where there was a drunk driver involved, did something crazy, but actually seeing it out your window and it involves your car, it sounds insane. Like, I can't believe that it's real life. And to make things worse, I was here by myself because my husband was out of town. I'll get more into this later with the budget, but my husband was out of town for 2 weeks. So I was actually by myself on the phone with him. And then our daughter was asleep. So luckily she slept through the whole thing, because I did have to come up here and check on her a couple times to make sure, because I didn't want her waking up alone to a bunch of police cars and just a mess outside. But yeah, she slept the whole time, luckily. I just can't believe the past few weeks, everything that's happened. So I'm sorry if that took up a lot of time. Wow, I'm like pretty far already. But I just wanted to share that and just vent, because I know some of you were here through the whole fiasco of my last car accident. So I just wanted to update you, and anyone who's been in a situation like that, like, hopefully you haven't, but you can understand how frustrating it is. And I just wanted to get it off my chest, because you will be hearing more about any kind of costs associated with that later. I should be getting reimbursed for everything, but for now, I didn't have rental car coverage. I got rid of that during my last accident, but I didn't have that. So right now I'm going to pay out of pocket, but her insurance should be reimbursing me for that. And for my deductible. I have a $750 deductible, but they made it sound like it'd be pretty easy to recover that from her. But yeah, I will definitely be working on that. But with that crazy story out of the way, let's get into everything that I spent in July. So apparently I forgot to charge my iPad, so I might have to run and get the charger. But okay, so July, I did spend a lot in July, but there were some things that I spent less on than I was planning to. So I don't think I'm too bad, but let's take a look. Okay, so first up is groceries, and groceries, I actually did awesome. I came in under budget with groceries, which is so exciting. So groceries, I budgeted $550 and I only spent $527. So that was really cool. Paper goods, I also came in under budget, which was amazing. So I only spent $9 on paper goods when I budgeted $30. But for August, I do need to restock paper towels and toilet paper, and I buy in bulk, so I will have a pretty big paper goods expense in August, but at least for July, I did really well. So gas is kind of an interesting one, because I did budget for filling up 2 times this month, but I only filled up once because I ended up getting the rental car. So this does mean that I will have a double gas payment most likely in August, because when I return the rental car, I'll need to fill up. And then my car, I filled up literally the day of the accident. So I had a full tank of gas for the accident. So we'll see how that goes. I might get away with filling up once, but we'll see. Preschool cost was basically what I budgeted. It was just a little under because I did have some payments that were supposed to be part of June that I ended up paying in July, just because she wasn't there for me to pay her. So it was delayed a bit. So yeah, that was basically what I budgeted, even though it's more than normal. Personal care and toiletries, I actually went way over on that one. I'm not sure why. I think for that, I know I needed to stock up on like some hair gel and some stuff. I think there were just some random things I needed to restock there. Over-the-counter meds and vitamins I actually went way over. So I spent $94 when I budgeted $30, but there was a lot I needed to restock. So I had to get vitamins and allergy meds for my daughter, allergy meds, vitamin D, and magnesium for myself. So I just had to restock like everything. Daughter's wants, this was a me problem because my daughter's wants, I only budgeted $15, but with my husband going out of town for 2 weeks, I should have budgeted way more because I was going to have to spend more on her to keep her entertained while he was gone, because just being like basically a single parent for 2 weeks, I needed a lot more to be able to entertain her. So I did spend $109. I feel like I probably would have budgeted a little less than that. I think I spent a little more than I would have wanted to, but I hardly spent anything on her once this year anyway, so I'm not doing too bad. Yeah, that's not a big deal. I think when I did my 6-month checkup, if you saw that video where I looked at my average spending across each month for the past 6 months, her once spending, I think I only spent like $10 on her for the whole year, because usually like her birthday and Christmas are at the end of the year. So a lot of the once spending for her is towards the end of the year. So yeah, I can afford to spend $100 on her for 1 month. Daughter's needs. This was also another me issue with the budgeting because I went way over. I spent almost basically $177, but it's because I went ahead and got her school uniform shirts. I was planning on doing that for August, but then I was like, they're probably going to get pretty backed up for August orders, so I might as well go ahead and do it in July before they get bogged down with too many orders and it takes forever. So yeah, I went ahead and got her uniform shirts, and that was like $130 or $140. It was quite a bit. Those uniform shirts are so pricey. And then I had to buy her a hoodie as well, like a uniform hoodie. It's so frustrating. Like, I wish they would just let you wear like a random polo shirt, but of course you have to have them with the school logo on it so they can charge you more money, which is very frustrating because the shirts are such low quality anyway. They're just like those random Amazon brand shirts you can find and just buy in bulk. They're awful. I hate it. Okay, so next, medical expenses was actually zero, thank God. So that's awesome. Well, not zero. It's my insurance was $130, so that's why it says $130, but zero extra on top of that. Gifts, I also spent zero. Clothes. Okay, so I went way over in clothes. I spent $212 when I budgeted $25. So what happened here? I shrunk one of my work cardigans because I accidentally put it in the dryer. I was so mad because I love that cardigan. But I realized that on ThredUp, I had a ton of ThredUp credit just from things I've returned in the past and things that I've sold. So I ended up being able to buy another cardigan, and I even found a couple blazers that I was hoping to get in like for the winter. So I went ahead and got all that with my ThredUp credit, and I think I only spent like $12 out of my pocket outside of that credit. So that was really cool. But where the extra cost comes in is that my feet are having some problems. So my second toe, it kept like bending backwards, like the middle knuckle of your toe, it kept bending backwards like on its own. And it was really weird and really uncomfortable. Not super painful, just uncomfortable. But usually it would fix itself after a few seconds. But it happened once where for several minutes I had to hold my knuckle so that it wouldn't bend backwards, and I ended up taping it to my other toe so that it wouldn't bend backwards. It was the weirdest thing I have ever experienced. So I thought it was starting to dislocate, but I googled it, and it's something about like the inflammation in that joint causes that sometimes. But long story short, I need to work on my foot health because some of my shoes just are not great for my feet. So I have a wide foot in general, and so having my toes like compressed in shoes all day, I think is making everything worse. And I do have issues with a bunion, like a slight bunion on one of my feet. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try barefoot shoes because I've heard so many good things about barefoot shoes, and then the wide toe box, and just I've just heard so many people talk about them. And my husband actually has some barefoot shoes and he loves them. So I was like, whatever, I'll try them. And I love them. They're so amazing. So I actually just bought a really cheap, well, not really cheap, but a cheap-ish pair on Amazon. They were like 42 bucks or so. And I really like those. But my work shoes they're not great with the toe box issue. So I went ahead and bought some barefoot flats to wear to work, and those were the expensive ones. Those were like $110. But my work shoes, one of them has a hole in them and the other ones are getting a little worn. So I kind of did need some work shoes anyway. I just wasn't planning on buying them so soon. But yeah, so that's why I went so far over in clothes. It was basically all shoe related. And I did buy some toe socks just to help my toes like spread more, because I noticed sometimes my socks are like really tight on my feet. Does anyone else have that issue? It's like all these socks, especially the workout ones, are like compression socks and they're just like strangling my toes. So anyway, this time, so all the clothing stuff has been about like foot health for July. Oh my God. And I just realized the over-the-counter meds and vitamins. So the costs I mentioned there, those were actually things that I spent in August. Like right now it is August 6th, so I'm a little late. Well, I have to like wait to get all my final numbers together. But I actually just did that recently. So that's not what the over-the-counter meds and vitamins was. It was my toe spreader thingies. So I didn't know what category to put these under. So I bought these things called Correct Toes, and they spread your toes apart. They're so awesome. Like they've been helping my feet so much. I've been wearing them off and on for the past like week or so, and I already feel like my toes feel so much better. Between that and the barefoot shoes and everything, like I've been feeling amazing. So I didn't know where to put that, if I should put it under like medical expenses, or I don't know, because I didn't want to put it under clothing because it's more of like a medical device sort of thing. So I ended up putting it under over-the-counter meds and vitamins. I don't know. Was that stupid? That might have been stupid. Maybe I should have put it under medical expenses. But I just needed to put it somewhere that was like more of a need, like more of a necessity, because it wasn't just like a random like t-shirt or something. It was something I need for my feet. So yeah, those were $65. They were kind of pricey. So that is where most of that cost came from. Okay, so hobbies was another big one, unfortunately. So most of the hobbies expense was from the beginning of July, when I was still buying soil for my garden. But I'm actually done with that, at least for now. I don't know that I'll be planting much more. I think the only thing I would plant more of is like root vegetables or lettuce that comes up anyway, and I might just wait till what I have growing, once that is picked, I might just plant more then. So I don't know that I'll be spending much more on that. But anyway, for the rest of the hobby spending, I'm actually learning Spanish. I took it in high school and actually college for a little bit, but my husband is Dominican, and so he and his whole family speak Spanish, and I went to learn Spanish. Even though Dominican Spanish is insane, it is so hard to understand and to speak, and they like tend to drop letters and endings of words, and it's so confusing. But my husband encouraged me to just learn like regular Spanish, like not Spain Spanish, so I guess like Latin America Spanish, Mexican Spanish, something like that. So he's helping me with that and kind of letting me know like how you would say things with Dominican Spanish, just for me to know. But yeah, that is so hard. But yeah, I'm not doing too bad. It's just kind of slow because I don't have like a really structured way of learning. It's sort of just me doing like, I have some audiobooks, like Learn Spanish in Your Car, and then some YouTube videos. And then my husband is actually helping me a lot, which is really great. I got some books from the library in Spanish, and so I'll read it and then kind of ask him to help me translate, and that's been working out really well. But anyway, back to the hobby spending. I bought some flashcards at Barnes & Noble and a book. So that was in the hobby spending as well. Pets, I actually didn't have a pet expense this month. I think I will have food for her next month though. Entertainment was $5. I think that was something with my daughter. I don't even remember, but $5 is cheap enough. So home goods and decor was more than I expected to spend also. There's a theme this month, I guess, more than I expected to spend. But it was Prime Day, which I usually don't do too much extra for Prime Day, but we needed a new couch cover and an ottoman cover because our ottoman it's just not in very good shape. And so instead of buying a whole new one, I was like, I'll just buy a cover. So I did buy those two things. I think that was it. But that was a little pricey on its own. So it was that, and maybe like a couple of other small things. But yeah, so yeah, I just spent a little bit more on that. The total for home goods and decor was $94. I think the two covers ended up being around $70. So there was something else in there, but I don't remember. Oh, a pan. I bought a pan because my little 8-inch omelet pan was like, it just was not in good shape anymore, and I really needed a new one. Childcare. This another situation where I just didn't budget correctly because my daughter's preschool was closed for the first week of July, so we had to pay my husband's sister to watch her, and I totally forgot to account for that in the budget. So that was we ended up spending $215 for that. Business expenses, I did have to buy a few things for Etsy, so that was $69. Salon, no salon. Dining out was actually a lot more this month, so it was $43 instead of the normal like $15. But it's because when my husband was out of town, my daughter and I went to Barnes & Noble like 2 or 3 times, and we just kept eating at the cafe just as a little treat, something to do while he was out of town. So I did spend more there. But that's kind of a temporary thing. We won't do that all the time. Car maintenance for now is $0. Vacation, $0. Electronics, $22.88. I don't even remember. That stuff is always just random things. Insurance and registrations is $0. Gym and house cleaner. For some reason, my gym payment didn't show up in July, so I may end up with 2 in August. Sometimes it's like that where it'll charge me either on the last day of the month or the first day of the month, and it kind of switches, but that will even out. No work expenses. So miscellaneous, I spent $27. That was all Dollar Tree. So again, with my daughter, we took a couple of trips to Dollar Tree just because she loves that store. And so we bought just a lot of random things like, I don't know, chapstick and sunglasses and a few snacks. I got gardening gloves. She got a few toys. I think we got, a toy for Pixel. Just literally just random stuff. Laundry, I spent $0 because I still had plenty of quarters from before. So I do have a new category, and that is cell phone. So I was on my parents' plan. I know I'm 36 and I was still on my parents' plan, but we just had a family plan and I never left it. So I did start paying for my own cell phone, and we had Cricket, but I wanted to do a hotspot on my phone. So I was staying with Cricket for the time being, and then I called them and was like, I need a hotspot on my phone, and they're like, you can't do that because you brought your own phone. You would have to purchase a new device. And I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. So I immediately called Mint, and I ended up getting Mint Mobile because hotspot is included, and so far I really like Mint. Their prices are really good. They had a really nice sign-up bonus where you get the first 3 months for $15 each for unlimited, which was amazing. So I did spend, where's my number? I did spend $103 because I had a $50 Cricket payment, and then I had a 50-ish plus tax payment for Mint, or what was it? 45 plus like a fee and a tax or whatever. But that's going to be good for the next 3 months. So I won't have another cell phone bill for 3 months. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Cricket actually used to be really competitive, and they're not so much anymore. I had them from back when I worked at GameStop, and they were affiliated with GameStop. They had like a partnership. So it was really easy then, but now I don't think I would recommend them. But yeah, my husband has T-Mobile, so if anything goes wrong with Mint, I'll probably just move to T-Mobile. But yeah, you can't really beat the price with Mint. It's awesome. I think the only sort of issue I had is that occasionally the data is a little slow, but it's really not that bad from what I've noticed. But I've only had them for like I don't know, a week and a half. So it hasn't been that long. But it's really easy to leave though if I decide to. Oh wow, I'm like running. I'm on my lunch break right now and I'm like running out of time because this video is so long, but it's okay. Let's get started with the projected expenses for August. This shouldn't take too long because I kind of already talked about it and I sort of have a pretty good idea of what I need to spend. For groceries, I'm actually just gonna keep it the same price because we're doing fairly good with our groceries. Like I definitely have some extra frozen meat and stuff. Yeah, I'll just keep it at $5.50. Paper goods and cleaning, like I said, I do need to restock paper towels and toilet paper for sure. I'm actually going to make it $70 because I think the paper towels, and actually it might even be, I'm going to make it $75 because I usually buy like a lot of paper towels. I'll buy like a 16 pack and then like a I think it's like 18 pack of toilet paper, so I buy quite a bit. Gas, I think I might have to fill up twice, just like I said, with the rental car and with my car, so I'm gonna leave it at $85. Preschool, so the preschool expenses are actually kind of weird now because I used to put them all on my credit card and then pay it off, but because of how my schedule is, I never catch her there with the credit card reader, so I've just been paying through Zelle. So now it's going straight from my bank account, and it's a little confusing, like kind of timing that with my paychecks because I don't like money sitting in my checking account. I always move it to savings, but once I move it to savings, I don't want to take it back out. So I have to keep like kind of figuring out the best way to pay for things. So sometimes I do pay like 2 weeks at a time and it kind of messes with the months a little bit. But I think I'm going to do, I'll leave it at $1,400 and see how that goes, because this is actually her last month of preschool. I mean, I guess now she's technically in the daycare part because they're not doing the school part over the summer, but her daycare and preschool are the same building. It's like same class and everything, but she is starting kindergarten soon in September, so this will be the last month I will have that preschool payment, and then it moves to just a childcare payment. I think we're gonna have my husband's sister watch her before and after school instead of paying for the before and after school care because it's so expensive. Personal care and toiletries, I can't even remember why I spent so much last month, but I might need like some soap and maybe some dry shampoo and stuff. So I'm gonna make that $25. Over-the-counter meds and vitamins, I know I already bought a few things, so I'm actually gonna make that $65. You know, that may actually be low. You know what? I'm gonna make it $70 because I feel like I had to buy quite a few things a few days ago. Daughter's wants, I feel like I bought so much for her last month. I don't think I'm gonna buy her anything this month, so I'll just leave that at $0 for now. Daughter's needs, she will definitely need some pants for school. So you know what? I'm just gonna put $100 for her needs because I'm gonna, gosh, is that even, I don't even know what to put because I gotta buy her school stuff too. You know what? This is like the one time a year where she actually needs a lot of stuff. I'll make it $140 just because I'm not sure exactly what I need to buy her for school. But that seems fair, especially because I already got her shirts. Medical expenses I'll just keep as my insurance and nothing more. Gifts, I don't think there's anything I need gifts for, so I'm gonna put that at $0. Clothes, it's possible I might buy more toe socks because the ones I bought, they don't fit super great. I'm gonna put $30 for clothes because I'm not sure if I'm gonna need something. Hobbies, I'll do $30 because if I need like a random bag of soil or another book for my Spanish stuff, that $30 would cover one of those anyway. Pets, Pixel does need more food, so I'm actually, she needs food. I don't know if she needs litter. I don't think she needs litter. I'm gonna put $50. Entertainment, I'm just gonna leave it $0. Home goods and decor. It's honestly, it's getting close to fall, and as much as I hate to admit it, I'm such a fall girly. Like, I love fall. But I have plenty of fall decorations. I think if anything, I would probably buy a little yarn to make some more stuff. But I actually have a lot of fall colors with yarn already. Anyway, I'll just, I'm gonna put 0. Let's see if I can do no home goods and decor for the month of August. Childcare, aside from preschool, I'm gonna put 0. We shouldn't need anything. Business expenses, I already bought some stuff last month. 0. Salon is a tough one because I'm actually getting to where I kind of want to go to the salon. I might see if my husband would pay for that for my birthday in September. I'll just put 0 for salon for now. Dining out, I'll leave it 15. Car maintenance, I'll leave it 0. Vacation, I'll leave it 0. Electronics, oh, I forgot to mention, and my budget I just went over, I had budgeted $330 for electronics because we were going to buy a Nintendo Switch. We actually technically did buy one. So we have a Switch Lite, just the handheld, but we wanted one to put on the TV so we could play as a family, and I was going to buy one. So I did buy one on Amazon, and they sent me the Japanese version, and support is not supported, like tech support is not supported in the US if you have the Japanese version. So I ended up sending it back, and someone I know was getting a Switch too and ended up giving us his Switch. So that was really cool. I'll have to like crochet him a Pokeball or something, like something to say how much I appreciate it, because that really saved us a lot of money. One of the reasons he just gave it to us is that we were the ones who actually found a Switch 2 available, because they're really hard to find right now. So we bought one, and then he paid us for it and then gave us the old Switch. So yeah, that was great. And I totally forgot to mention that I was way under budget on electronics for what I had planned to spend. So anyway, for electronics, this month, I don't think I'll need anything because we actually have screen protectors for the Switch and everything. Yeah, what time is it? I only have like 15 minutes. We got to get going. I'm just gonna put like $20 in case I need something random. Insurance and registration. My car insurance I think is due like at the end of September, beginning of October, so I should be good on that. Gym and house cleaner, I'm going to leave the same, even though I may have a second gym payment because of what I mentioned, where sometimes 2 of them end up in the same month for some reason. But yeah, I'll just leave that. Work, there shouldn't be any work expense. Miscellaneous, I usually just keep it 20. Laundry, I may actually need laundry, so I'm going to put $20. Yeah, I'll just put $20. And then cell phone, where I mentioned I already paid for 3 months. I won't have a cell phone bill, so that's really cool. And that's actually it. The only thing I did forget, which I always forget, is to go over subscriptions. And basically all of those stayed the same. The only thing is that I changed my Adobe subscription. So I do Adobe Acrobat because I make my my embroidery patterns. I use Acrobat to combine the PDFs, but I was paying for like the $13 one, and you can't combine PDFs in that one. Like, why not? It's so weird. So I had to pay for the $20 one. Like $20 a month to combine PDFs it sucks. I think that is so stupid. I try to watch my language on this channel just because I don't know if anyone's watching with kids or whatever, but yeah, it's bullshit. That's what it is. So, I may actually end up canceling and there are a couple other ones I'm looking into that I think you can combine the same way as Acrobat, where it's like in a drop-down menu on your desktop, just to keep it easy. So I will definitely be looking into that. The only thing that really sucks about Adobe is that almost a year ago, I had subscribed for an annual plan billed monthly, and I forgot that I selected the annual plan. So what that does is it lowers your cost, but you do still pay monthly instead of paying one whole fee. And to get out of that contract, you actually have to pay a portion of what you have left. So that's the only thing keeping me with Adobe right now, is that if I cancel, I think I have to pay like $45 to cancel the service. So it's like I might as well just pay that $20 until my contract is up, because I think I only have like 3 months left anyway. So yeah, I guess I learned my lesson there. Yeah, so just watch that, especially if anyone's looking into Adobe. I mean, I love Adobe products. I mean, I used to use Illustrator and Photoshop all the time, but since I don't anymore, it's just not worth it to me. All right, so we have gone over everything. You've heard my crazy month, we've done my budget, and I have about 10 minutes left on my lunch break, so I'm gonna go relax for a minute, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Make sure you drop a like and comment, subscribe, do all those things. I love hearing from you guys, so please drop me a comment if you have a minute, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.